Hi, welcome to Linu Economics Net YouTube channel. My name is Linu Alex, Economics teacher. Today I talk about the topic demand. Here we discuss the definition of demand, the relationship between the price and quantity demanded, and draw and interpret demand curve, extension and contraction of demand, or otherwise the movement along the demand curve. The next one, movement of the demand curve, increase in demand or decrease in demand. Next one, individual demand and market demand. Lastly, the factors affecting demand. Okay, let's start the class. To understand this concept of demand, let's check one example. Here is Mr. Jack. He wants to buy a house, but he doesn't have enough money to buy a house. In such situation, he is willing but not having ability to buy a house. Another person, Mr. Peter, he has enough money to buy a house, but he is not willing to buy a house. Here, he has the ability, but the problem is he is not willing. Here in our example, these two people are unable to buy a house because one person is willing, another person is not willing. One person has the ability, another person has no ability. In this situation, these two persons are not buying the house. Here, I would like to introduce another person, Mrs. Ross. She has the money to buy a house and she is willing to buy it. So, now she can buy the house because she has the ability and willingness. So we can define demand in economics means the ability and willingness to buy a product. We know to buy a product we need to pay the price. So what is the relationship between the price and quantity demanded? Let's check one example. Please look at this table. Here, the first column we denotes price and second one quantity demanded. And different prices are written here, and according to the price, how much the consumer is buying the product. The amount of goods and services at each price is demanded is called quantity demanded. Here, the price increased from 10 to 60. The quantity demanded decreased from 600 to 100. What we understand from this table? Here, when the price increases, the quantity demanded decreases. In general, the quantity demanded falls when the price rises and the consumer demand more quantity of goods when the price falls. So, there is an inverse relationship between the price and quantity demanded. This rule is called law of demand. So, here in this table, we are showing the quantity demanded at different price levels. This is called demand schedule. We can represent this demand schedule in a diagram. It is called demand curve. Please look at here. The x-axis represents quantity demanded and y-axis price. DD is the demand curve. It is a downward sloping curve. Demand curve is downward sloping because there is inverse relationship between the price and quantity demanded. Now you understand the meaning of demand and how to draw demand curve. Let's move on to the next part, individual demand and market demand. To understand the concept of individual demand, let's check one example. Here is a demand schedule of oranges by Mr. Jack. When the price of an orange is inferior to, he buys 25 oranges. And similarly, when the price of oranges increases from 2 to 4, he reduces his consumption from 25 to 20. Similarly, when the price increases from 2 to 12, he reduces the demand for the goods from 25 to 1. This is the individual demand schedule of Mr. Jack. Here is another demand schedule. This is the demand schedule by Mr. Peter. Here, when the price of an orange is inferior to, Mr. Peter buys 30 units of oranges. At the same time, when the price increases, he decreases the quantity demanded. So, these are the two separate individual demand schedule of two individuals. So, how can we define individual demand? Individual demand is the amount of product an individual would be willing and able to buy at different prices. Now we know the meaning of individual demand. Then what is meant by market demand? The market demand can be explained with the help of an example. Here in our example, two individual consumers are here. One is Mr. Jack and another one is Peter. And we discussed about their individual demand schedule. Just assume there are two consumers in the market. Here, when the price of oranges is 2, Mr. Jack buys only 25 oranges and Peter buys 30 oranges. So what is the market demand for oranges when the price is 2? Can you guess how to get the market demand when the price is MVR 2? It is very easy to find out. Here we are adding up the individual demand of Mr. Jack and Mr. Peter together, and then we will get that market demand of oranges when the price is MVR 2. We can adding up the all individual demands together and we will get the market demand of each price. How can we define market demand? The market demand is a total demand for a product at different prices. It is found by adding up all individual demand at each price level. Hope you understand the difference between the individual demand and market demand and how they connected. Now we can move on to the next part of our class, the effect of changes in price on demand or movement along the demand curve. As we discussed earlier, when the price of a product increases, the quantity demanded will decrease, and the price decrease, the quantity demanded will increase. This we are going to show in movement along the demand curve. Please look at this diagram. Here, the price of a product decreased from 40 to 20. As a result, the quantity demanded increased from 300 to 500 units. As a result, the demand is extended from point A to B. This is called extension in demand. Because of the price changes, when the price falls, the quantity demanded is increasing. Extension in demand. When quantity demanded of a product increases due to decrease in its own price, other factors remaining constant, it is a situation of extension in demand. The next one, contraction in demand. Just opposite of extension in demand. Please look at this diagram. Here, the price of a product increased from 40 to 80. As a result, what happened to the quantity demanded? The quantity demanded decreased from 200 to 100. Contraction in demand. When quantity demanded of a product decreases due to increase in its own price, other factors remaining constant, it is a situation of contraction in demand. Please remember, extension in demand and contraction in demand is due to changes in the price of the product itself. Now we can move on to the next part, shift in demand or movement of the demand curve. Shift in demand curve means the demand curve shifts to right or left. Shift in demand curve is caused by the non-price factors affecting demand, such as income of the consumer, advertisement, and weather conditions, etc. We will study that in detail. First, let's check how the shift will occur and then we can explain the causes of the shifts. Please look at this diagram. Here, D1 is the first demand curve and D2 is the second demand curve. Here, the demand curve shifted to right side. The reason are the non-price factors. Here we can see the price remained constant. The price at 30, the demand curve moving to right side and quantity demanded increasing from 400 to 500. This is called increase in demand. Increase in demand. A rise in demand at any given price causing the demand curve shifted to right. An increase in the willingness and ability of buyers to purchase a good at the existing price. Next one, please look at this diagram. Here we can see the price remains in 20. The quantity demanded decreased from 500 to 300. The demand curve shift to left side but price remains same. This is the decrease in demand. A decrease in demand. A decrease in the willingness and ability of buyers to purchase a good at the existing price, illustrated by leftward shift of the demand curve. So, a rise in demand at any given price causing the demand curve shifted to right. At the same time, a fall in demand at any given price causing demand curve shifted to left. Please don't be confused with movement along the demand curve and movement of the demand curve. Movement along the demand curve means the extension and contraction in demand that is caused by the price changes of the product itself. But here, the movement of the demand curve or increase in demand or decrease in demand make the demand curve shift to right or left. This is caused by other factors affecting demand or the conditions affecting demand such as advertisement, increase in the income of the consumers and weather conditions, etc. Now let's move on to that part there. Why this demand curve shift right side or left side? What are the causes of it? These points also called the factors affecting demand. Here, the first point is income of the consumer. In general, we know that when the income of the consumer increases, their purchasing power also will increase. As a result, normally the consumer prefer to buy more quantity of goods and services when their income increases. Before come to a conclusion of this statement, let's check the normal good and inferior good. What is normal good? The normal good is a good when its demand will increase when consumers' income increase. Normal good includes clothing, home appliances, etc. So, when the income increase, the demand for a particular good will increase means we can identify that they are normal good. Then what is meant by inferior good? Just opposite of normal good. When the income of the consumer increase, the demand for the particular good will decrease. That type of good we can say that inferior good. Similarly, when income decrease, the demand for that good will increase. For example, when income of a consumer increase, he can prefer to buy a car instead of public transport. When income increase, he prefer to travel by car and he feels that the public transport is an inferior good. There is a positive relationship between consumer's income and the demand in case of normal good, and there is inverse relationship between the income and quantity demanded of inferior good. So please look at this diagram. Here, demand curve shift to right side because of consumers' income increase. If the product is inferior good, we can see that when the income increase, the demand for that particular good will decrease, and income decrease, the demand for the good will increase. So, consumers' income and demand depends on what type of a product, whether it is normal good or inferior good. The next point is the price of related products. The demand for a good is affected by the price of related products such as substitute goods and complementary goods. A substitute is a good or service that can be used in place of another good or service. We have a lot of examples for substitute goods. For example, public transport and car, Pepsi and Coca-Cola, and there are different types of products are there, noodles and pasta. So these goods, instead of one good, we can use another good. Let's check how the changes in the price of substitute goods will affect demand for a product. Please check the diagram here. The market for two products are displayed. First one, market for coffee, and another one, market for tea. We know tea and coffee are substitutes each other. Here we can see the price of coffee increase in the market. What will happen to the market? As we know, when the price of coffee increase, the demand for coffee will decrease, because when the price increase, quantity demanded will decrease. As a result, there is a chance for the consumers can switch to the market for tea. They prefer to buy tea than coffee because coffee price is high and tea price remaining same. In such situation, the demand for tea will move to right side. That means there is an increase in demand for tea because of a rise in price of coffee. Same time, if the price of coffee decrease, how it will affect the market of tea? When the price of coffee decrease, people prefer to buy coffee than tea. As a result, the demand for coffee may increase and the demand for tea will decrease. Next related product is complementary goods. Complementary goods are the goods which are used together to satisfy a particular want. For example, breakfast cereal and milk. Because these two products are used together to satisfy a particular want. In this case, what will happen to the market if the cereal price increase? When the cereal price increase, the consumer prefer to buy its substitutes. They are not going to buy much of the quantity of cereal. As a result, the demand for milk will decrease. In opposite side, when the cereal price will decrease, the consumer prefer to buy more cereal than other substitute. In such situation, the people prefer more cereal. As a result, the demand for milk also will increase. So they are interconnected. The price of substitute goods and complementary goods are the two factors affecting the demand for a product. The next point is advertisement. Advertising is an effective way to build a brand awareness and to tell consumers about the benefit of the product or services. Please look at this diagram. The demand curve for a product will increase and it move to right side because of a successful advertisement. When there is a successful advertisement, the consumers are more aware of the product. And the existing customers also prefer to buy this particular product. As a result, the demand curve shifted to right side. On the same time, if advertisement is not successful, it will affect the demand for the product. As a result, the demand curve shifted to left. The next point is population. What is meant by population? It is the total number of people living in a particular area in a given period of time. Here we can see how population and the demand for a product are related. As we know, a country or a place experience more population, their demand for the product would rise. At the same time, the size of the population is small, there is a less chance for increase in demand, there is a decrease in demand. That is size of population. Next one, the age composition of population. We know that in population has different age composition, children, younger age group, aging population, etc. If a country experiences an aging population, there is a fall in birth rate and fall in death rate. As a result, there is a high demand for elderly people's goods and services in the market. For example, more medical facilities, nursing homes, and at the same time walking sticks and earphone equipments, etc. So these type of products will be high demand because of the age composition. At the same time, if a country's population composition is younger age group, that time there is a high demand for products like t-shirts, Ray-Bans, etc. The next point is changes in the taste and fashion. An important factor which determines the demand for a good is the taste and preferences of the consumers for it. A good for which consumers' taste and preferences are greater, its demand would be larger, and its demand curve will therefore lie at a higher level. People's taste and preferences for various goods often changes, and as a result, there is a change in demand for them. The next point is the weather condition. As we know, we are experiencing different weather or climatic conditions throughout the year. As a result, different weather, the demand for different products are increasing. For example, in rainy season, there is a high demand for raincoats, umbrella, etc. At the same time, in summer season, there is a high demand for cold drinks, ice creams, etc. So, the weather is an important factor affecting demand. Here, during the rainy season, the demand for raincoat will increase. As a result, the demand for raincoat is increasing. The next point is our future expectation regarding the price of a product. Just imagine, if we expect a particular product price would increase in nearby future, what we will do? We prefer to buy and store that particular product more because we know that the price is going to rise in future. In such situation, the demand for the product at current, it will increase. At the same time, we feel that the particular product's price is going to fall in nearby future. What we will do? We stop buying the product and we are waiting for the price fall. As a result, the demand for that particular product will decrease in present and we are waiting for price fall in the future. So these are the factors causing the shift in demand curve. Number one, the changes in consumers' income, changes in the price of related products, advertisement, weather conditions, population changes, and our expectation on future price. Dear students, I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. We will meet in another class with another video. If you feel these video lessons are worth, please subscribe my YouTube channel and click the bell icon so you will get the notification when I upload new videos. At the same time, if you have any doubts regarding this topic, please write it in comment box. Thank you for watching my YouTube channel, Dino Economics Net YouTube channel for IGCSE O-Level Economics.